since then. Well, consistently since then, almost full time. So I'm sitting in for Paul Bigger, who's our founder, who usually runs these events, because he is out with COVID, unfortunately. So we are, so everyone knows, recording this event and also streaming it live on YouTube and LinkedIn, possibly Instagram. I'm not positive about that. And yeah, we will send out a recording of the event after the fact for anyone who registered and wasn't able to be here. If you have questions at any time during this event for anybody who's a speaker or for anybody at Tech for Palestine generally, go ahead and post them in the chat and we will get to them as quickly as possible. And that is about it for introductions. Brief agenda. I'm going to give a quick current state of affairs, a little overview of Palestinian-related news in tech, some organization updates. Then we're going to talk about some new incubator projects that we are working with and get some information from Aza about our volunteering needs and current state of affairs. So, without further ado, yeah, sorry. And we will also have one of our projects, the Quora dedication project. Baldwin will be here to present on that project. So the current state of affairs is, of course, grim as per usual. Unfortunately, since the resumption of the genocide in Gaza, Israel has killed approximately 1,100 people, and just new horror stories are coming out in the news every day, and this is just a sample of them. Yeah, it's really tragic. I read an interview with a volunteer doctor in Gaza who was talking about cutting off the brand new Eid Fitr clothing from children who were celebrating, and it goes on. And then the story, if you haven't seen it, of the medics who were found, some of them with their hands bound, buried with their ambulances and other vehicles in a mass grave. It's just, the horror continues. In the tech area, since we are Tech for Palestine, we try to focus largely, not entirely, but largely on the tech industry. It's where we have our expertise and our knowledge and what kicked this all off. So the news story that we're talking about here is a group of Microsoft workers who were protesting the sale of AI and cloud services to the Israeli military were fired from their positions. Not the first group of employees to be fired from Microsoft or any of the other big tech companies, but just the latest. And in case you missed it, Google finished its acquisition of Wiz, which is an Israeli company that it started trying to buy last year, and then the sale fell through, and it seemed like a victory for BDS efforts, but it ended up going through this year. So there's a couple of posts available on our blog and on LinkedIn from Paul that go into quite some detail about what the implications of that are. And then also the last story, there's Daniel Levy has joined Zeteo, and for anyone who doesn't know, Zeteo is a multimedia publication started by Mehdi Hassan It's on Substack, or you can go to zeteo.com. I'm a founding member of it because I am just a big fan of Mehdi's work, and they have some really great contributors there, from Bassem Youssef to Diana Butu, Kat Abou-Ghassala, and now Daniel Levy, Naomi Klein, Owen Jones. It goes on and on. There's lots of really good contributors, lots of really good content on Zeteo. So highly recommend. All right. A couple of organizational updates we have. First of all, we had a webinar. E4P is Entrepreneurs for Palestine. So we had a project called Entrepreneurs for Palestine apply and join our incubator. And we very quickly saw that there was a lot of overlap between the work that they were doing and the work that we wanted to be doing. So we sort of absorbed them into Tech for Palestine. And so now we had our first hiring Palestinian talent webinar with E4P, and it was successful. So, and we're going to have more of that, probably monthly, maybe less frequently. But keep if you're subscribed to our newsletter, which you can subscribe to on the front page of the website, or just hang out in the Discord, you'll hear more about upcoming events. And also new is that we are accepting donations. We've got some big dollar donations from various organizations who want to support what we do, but only since we became a 501c3 a couple of months ago did we start thinking about collecting small dollar donations from anybody and everybody who's able to do it. So you can do one time, you can do a monthly, annually, etc. And all of the money will be used to support our operations here and the projects. Probably most of it will be used to support the projects that we are incubating. So feel free to go to techforpalestine.org/donate and donate if you would like to do that. All righty, and now I'm going to turn it over to Mohamed, if Mohamed is available.
Hey, Tom, thanks. I hope everyone can hear me all right. Perfect. Thanks for the thumbs up. So hi, everyone. My name is Mohamed. I have been with the incubator for a few months now. I'm filling in the big shoes for Samira. I think it's the first time I'm presenting on behalf of the incubator. So I'm working closely with Tom, Samira, and Paul. I wanted to start quickly with an apology, because I think many of you who have applied to the incubator in the past few weeks have suffered maybe from slow response from Tech for Palestine, or have had their interviews rescheduled. We've actually accumulated a backlog of applications, as several team members were not available in the past few weeks, but we are now working through the backlog and hope to be back on track within the next week or two. So thank you for your patience. This month, we have a number of projects that have been onboarded to the incubator, and I think the list is quite diverse and interesting. We'll start off with Palestine Skating Game. Palestine Skating Game is a skating game, as the name suggests. I want you to think Subway Surfers. Hopefully this is the next one. And it's set to take place in Palestine. I will show you a video in a second. But they have a really impressive depiction of Bethlehem. I think that's the first setting they aim to have the game running in. The game has a pretty authentic character. It hopes to attract at least young Americans, for a start, from pro-Zionist communities by having an original music theme as well, from a lot of Levantine artists, whether in Egypt, Palestine, Lebanon, Turkey, and so on. 50 to 60 people have contributed to the game so far. The core 3 team members are based between Gaza, Lebanon, and Florida. And you can tell their commitment by finding out they've been working on the game since 2022. They're currently looking for programmers, artists, designers, social media managers, amongst others. You can also support their GoFundMe page, and you can reach out to our volunteer team if you're interested in helping them. And I think we can run a very quick video.
Hey all, this is a Palestine skating game. We've been working on this for 3 years now with a very small team. We want to expand and do this full time. So 70% of proceeds will go to hiring Palestinians and Lebanese with affected families. We're trying to finish a first episode set in Bethlehem along with Hebron and Gaza before the war in 2022. We hope to make licensed Arabic music a strong focus. The tone will vary, but we're fans of Paradise Now, Incendies, and The Wire.
Perfect. Thank you, Tom. So very impressive visuals, as you can see. And I hope the storyline will be just as impressive. While we're on projects with impressive visuals, I think we can move over to revolutionized brands. Again, an interesting project. If you think about our fashion choices, a lot of us have already purchased clothing items from brands that we've later realized are associated with Zionism or support Israel directly. Now we already have the items, what to do with those? That's exactly what revolutionized brands aims to help with. They alter previously purchased boycott items and seek to facilitate what they call an inward journey of deconstruction. The project owner mentions that she embraces the concept of kintsugi, a Japanese concept for repairing broken pottery by accentuating the fractures with gold. And as you can see from the very stylish items on the slide, the artist uses the same concept by attaching strips of keffiyehs or tatris to immediately transform those items, or to transform the fashion choice into a means of resistance and self-expression in support of Palestine. Tatris, by the way, is the Palestinian embroidery. So if you can see the red item on the left on the jeans jacket, that's the very traditional Palestinian means of stitching. Even each region in Palestine have a very distinct stitch that you can tell the region from, or the artist from. Now, this project aims to donate proceeds to Palestinian organizations, and we're not exactly experienced in fashion, in tech for Palestine, so we will be helping with the technology components of this project, namely the website, and helping them to achieve better reach on social media channels. So that's revolutionized brands for you. Next project in today's list is the Boycott Streak app. I think is a very novel idea. The project owner, who is an experienced, by the way, market researcher, game designer, and has spent time with multiple tech startups, wants to take boycotting to the next level. It's not just enough to look at items while we're shopping on applications like our very own Boycat, but they would like to help us keep track of our boycott commitment. And what better way to do that than to introduce gamification into the process? So they're suggesting an app that tracks boycott streaks, that has leaderboards, and all that is done by tracking our spending. So basically integrating with our bank accounts or with our card applications. And the hope is making boycott a more social activity, which allows us to concentrate efforts and make the achievements we collectively do in boycott measurable and visible, which gives even more momentum to the boycotting movement. Now, this project is in its very early stages. The project owner is currently elaborating core concepts of the project and validating the basic assumptions, but they will soon move into hiring a team to build an MVP, a minimum viable product. That's boycott streak for you. We have 2 more to go. Or merchants, I think, is an incredibly smart idea. It looks at supply chain as a key enabler of genocide. So supply chain networks that move bombs or weapon components or ammunition that is used to kill innocent people. The project plans to disrupt that by tracking the maritime shipping of war material to enable things like port blocking by states that are compliant with the ICJ rulings. You can think of it as the flight radar for war shipments. So we are continuously tracking those. And the project owner hopes that this can be used by anti-war activists who could track shipments and alert supporters in key ports. And this can really be extended beyond current genocide. In terms of impact, the minimum the project hopes to achieve is raising the cost of bombing by disrupting the supply chain and threatening the aggressor's ability to assure weapons continuous replenishment. So the final, and I think the best to the last project for today, is from a Gazan founder, he's a full stack developer, and he's already started this mentorship initiative for Gaza tech graduates. It's been running for a while. It's an initiative that is dedicated to supporting graduating students in technical fields from Gaza universities and colleges. And the project aims to provide mentorship, guidance, and supervision to help students successfully complete their graduation projects, a core component of finishing technical courses. But not just that, it's also preparing them for the job market. So it's really rewarding on both sides for the students that they are equipped with mentorship and guidance, but also for the mentors themselves that they are able to contribute to the growth and guidance of Gazans towards where they can really excel within the IT industry. So in terms of what we can help the project with, they are constantly looking for mentors and supervisors, especially from outside of Palestine, who have diverse experiences and can provide different perspectives as well to students inside Gaza. In terms of scalability, the project not only, as I said, supports the graduation project, but also hopes to handhold them in finding their way into the labor market after graduation, as well as if they choose to go down the entrepreneurial path, in helping them to choose the correct ideas for their startups. Finally, the project fits perfectly, in my view, into the Tech for Palestine ecosystem, as we have other projects that are aiming to get Palestinian technology professionals hired globally. So this really complements some of the existing projects that we have. So those are all the projects that we have for this month. Please keep your eye on the list of projects that we have on our website. You have the link right there, and I think it'll be in the chat as well. If you like to start a project of your own or to apply to the incubator, there is also a list of projects that we would like folks to start and are just waiting for champions who have the ability and the skills necessary to turn them into reality. So thank you for listening in to me today. I'm just trying to figure out who I hand over back to.
That'll be me, Mohammed. I'll take it.
There you go.
Thank you.
Excellent.
So next up, we are going to bring up Baldwin, if he is in the audience. Ah, there he is. And he's going to talk to us about the Fora dedication project. And Baldwin, just let me know when you want me to move through the slides.
No problem at all. Thank you, Tom. Hello, everybody. Can you guys hear me all right? Just a confirmation. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, that's cool. Okay, thank you very much. So I'm Baldwin. My background is specifically in engineering. I'm an engineer, computer engineer to be specific, but I have started advocating for Palestine in terms of writing, not much as tech, to be honest, and specifically focused on writing since 2020, late 2020, when I was still a student in university, and continued writing for Palestine even before the genocide. And as the genocide started and continued, I've been writing for Palestine ever since. I was writing along with many of my friends, and we decided to put together a project of a team of writers because we do believe in the idea of writing as a form of resistance and as a form of raising awareness to the Palestinian cause. Because looking at history, the writers, Palestinian writers, were the ones that built the Palestinian cause and helped shape the Palestinian cause since it began, since the Nakba of 1948. A very quick overview of the Cora dedication team and what is it comprised of. It's comprised of the most talented and brightest influential researchers and writers who work online. And we all work together to write on many platforms, but mainly Cora, because this is the platform that we actually started on. And this is the platform that we started writing on earlier, but we also write on other platforms like Reddit and X. Our numbers are about 35 million views on Quora, having written about thousands of articles. Some of us have 1,000 articles probably each over Quora over the past few years. Before we even got into the incubator, before we got into Tech for Palestine, we already were making impact. So these are the numbers of the work we've done over the past few years. Why is Quora important as a platform? We've done our research, and looking at the number of monthly active users is about 400 million globally, where 35% of Americans in the United States use Quora, and the vast majority of the audience is I would say they all have degrees, so they're a pretty educated audience, and 28% have a graduate degree. So we're talking about a very educated audience who are focused more on research. The average user spends about 4.11 minutes a day on the site. This is also comparable to other popular sites like X or Instagram or etc. So this is a high number of minutes per day for a user. And very occasionally, when a user actually searches for a question or anything on a search engine, let's say Google, for example, a lot of the answers will be, or a lot of the results, search results will be Quora answers. I'll give an example. I wrote an article before about a certain topic regarding Palestine, and somebody was researching this very same topic. And when they searched, my article came up as an answer to their inquiry. What this means is that many people will continue researching and making questions or asking questions on Google or on other search engines. And it's very, very important that our articles are there as answers to raise awareness about the cause. Tom, could we please move to the next slide? Thank you very much. So as mentioned earlier, the main objective is to raise awareness for the Palestinian cause. And this is done through writing. We have a very well-organized research and writers team. And we do collaborate with each other in order to write articles on or create other sort of content as well, not just articles. And we put them on platforms like Quora and Reddit. So the diagram here essentially shows the administration tool that we use, which is FreeCamp. This organizes all the user stories and all the tasks for all of the members. It's a complicated and complex administration system that we have, but it's made to be very simple for all of the members of the team. And we use Discord only for organizing. So we do everything from a closed Discord server, which is private. And then this is to protect the privacy of the members who collaborate with each other in that server and essentially write their articles. And when the articles are produced, the processes are to post on Quora, Reddit, and X. So we work mainly on these three platforms, but we're also open to expand to other platforms in the future. Would be next slide, please, Tom. So the audience geography is just to understand that we're focusing mainly on the Western Hemisphere because about more than half of the people who use Quora are in North America and Europe, which is basically where we want to raise our awareness to. We do write in English, but we also have a linguistic section which translates articles and targets other communities, mainly in Europe and Latin America, for example. But mainly our focus is on Americans. People ask, what is the best time to post on social media usually? And for us, it's when all Americans are awake or when all Europeans are awake. That is when the articles will have the highest impact. So we're talking about 39.3% are in North America and about 26% are in Europe and the United Kingdom, whereas most of the others are in India and in other regions in Asia. Next slide, please. Impact. So our numbers have been impactful on both Quora and Reddit. On the right, where the numbers are 6.9 million, 12.2 million, and another 12.2 million, those are two different accounts, but they happen to have the same number this month specifically. So this is the numbers of some of our top writers who have been writing for a really long time, and they've accumulated these numbers, and some of our more active writers do get numbers about 200,000 per month. As seen on the right. These are some of the numbers that people get on their articles, on the many articles they write on Quora. On the left, this is an example of some articles we write in Reddit. We do have a collaboration with some of the biggest subreddits, actually the biggest subreddits for Palestine in Reddit. We do collaborate with these guys and we work with them to post our content there. And therefore, we do get much more numbers of views in comparison to Quora as well. So this is one of the articles that I wrote, and it got about 86,000 views. And we are expecting those numbers on a very regular basis when people post on Twitter, or X right now, as it's called. The numbers are about 60 million views. One of the articles that I wrote got about 700,000 views, for example. So it's very easy to hit this number of impressions on X specifically. That is our impact. Can we move to the next slide, please? For ongoing work, there are many projects that are being undertaken by the team at the current moment. This includes the documentation of many of the historical as well as ongoing events. So we do a lot of research on history, but we also do a lot of research on what's going on right now. And we do write on both. And we keep the content going. We keep writing many articles on a very regular basis in many different projects. People can work on the projects that they want depending on their skill set, and they can contribute depending on their skill set as well. This is some of the articles that we are writing. We do have a very high quality standard for how we write, and we also do require a certain skill set, but I would say many people can undergo training in order to get to that standard. It's not easy, but it does take a little bit of effort, and many people get there eventually when it comes to writing. Next slide, please. So opportunities is we're mainly looking for people who are interested in writing and research. So people who like reading about Palestine, people who like sharing the information they have about Palestine, people who like debating a lot about Palestine online, for example. I noticed this a lot. And a lot of people nowadays, a lot of people also who are interested in writing posts and creating content. This is mainly the kind of people we're looking for. If you do have any other skill, like other languages, for example, this is something that would also be very impactful in terms of translating articles, for instance. We do have training, we do have documentation, we do have guides to help volunteers get up to speed. And we do support volunteers in order for them to remain within the team and be able to make significant impact. And many of our volunteers have been able to make impact so far. I would also say that things might seem overwhelming for people as soon as they join, not just this project, but any project in general. However, we do not overwhelm people with tasks. We do create tasks and create work based on people's dedicated weekly hours. So the priority in our code of ethics is that people generally do not get overwhelmed, and priority is always to real life. However, when they do volunteer, they are always assured to make impact, no matter how much time they spend. I think this is probably the last slide. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you so much. If there's any questions, I don't know if I go down or do I answer them in the chat?
Yeah, well, let me ask you a question while we wait to see if anybody comes up in the chat, Baldwin. So there's been some drama in the past about Wikipedia as writing about Palestine. Do you face that same kind of challenge with Quora writing? Is there a Zionist contingent that is like that you're fighting against or something in Quora?
So there is always Zionist propaganda and Zionist users. Actually, we are very heavily outnumbered when it comes to Quora specifically. On Reddit, it's the other way around. So pro-Palestinians outnumber the Zionists on Reddit, but for Quora, it's the other way around. For us, we are struggling with that. But nevertheless, when it comes to drama, specifically with Wikipedia, we do have a very, very strict security system. And many people have been unverified and have been revoked access and have not gained access in the first place because they were not able to pass the security procedures that we have. So we do have security procedures, we do have very strict rules, we do have awareness on security every weekend. We have like 3 meetings per week, and one of those meetings we have a chat about what we call a safety moment or a security moment. It's comparable to what we have at work in the real industry, where there's like safety and stuff in factories. So we do safety moments there to make sure everybody in the factory is aware of the safety concerns and all of that. So we do raise the same thing in our Quora meetings as well to remain safe within social media. So yes, our lead writer was only mentioned in an article before about our Palestine specifically, but many of our work was not exposed. The private server itself was not exposed, and basically a lot of the stuff that we do has not been exposed yet. So it just shows that we have been effective security-wise.
That's great. So I don't see any questions popping up in the chat, but I went ahead and put a link to your channel there. And if anybody has any questions for you, I'm sure they will reach out to you there.
All right,
Thank
no
you,
problem.
Baldwin.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. All right, and now I'm going to hand things over to Azza to talk about volunteering.
Thank you, Tom, and thanks to all the presenters so far. Amazing stuff we're doing, so very cool. So first, Eid Mubarak to those that were observing Ramadan. I know it's a hard to celebrate anything these days, and inshallah, in the coming year brings us more joyful occasions and times we can cherish together. Before I dive into some of the specific volunteer needs we have, I just wanted to emphasize what Baldwin just mentioned. We acknowledge and appreciate some of the, feedback that we've gotten from some of our volunteers. Sometimes it feels a bit overwhelming when they join a project, a little bit lost. Discord is very scary for some people. I know myself personally, Discord was very overwhelming for me. And so we are doing some things to help make things easier. We'll be sharing a Discord kind of for dummies and just some easy tips and shortcuts and how to navigate our Discord. We're also working closely with project leaders and gathering feedback from our volunteers on ways we can make things easier, standardizing on some of our onboarding, providing more training, project-specific training as volunteers join the team. And so I just ask you, please be patient with us. Join. Everyone has the best intentions. If something's not working, if you're feeling lost or confused, please raise your hand, talk to myself, talk to the project leader, or whichever person you're supporting, whichever team you're supporting. And for project leaders, thank you for taking the time to create training content, meet with your volunteers regularly, and just help keep them on track and engaged and make sure folks aren't feeling overwhelmed. So I just wanted to emphasize Baldwin's feedback that we are working to make things better. So thanks for hanging in there with us. A couple of volunteer opportunities I'd like to highlight. In addition to the core team, they're always looking for awesome researchers and writers. We have a couple more open positions I'll call out. You guys hear me talk about social media all the time. It's so important to all of our projects. It's important for T4P. This is just a skill set that we always need. And so if you have social media skills, if you like getting the word out and posting and you have the time, or you have friends that do, please refer them to us. We have several projects that are currently looking for social media content creators: Jaywalk, Find a Protest, Accountable Media, Memories for Palestine, Tribex, the T4P team. And so please keep that in mind. Keep it in mind as you think about your network as well. The Jaywalk team is looking for a couple of things: UX, UI designer, technical writer, and a graphic designer. So we're looking for a UX, UI designer to help bring their vision, their design vision, to life in the app. So it's a very exciting opportunity to contribute in a very meaningful way there. Also looking at a really important role, technical writers, to help bridge that gap between technical experts and the end users, help with things like maintain documentation standards, user manuals, and just continue collaborating with our technical experts, ensuring that we have a very user-friendly app. And graphic designers. So this is a short-term need, and may come up recurringly, but right now they're looking for someone to help them design map pins and icons for the app. And so if you or anyone in your network has any of these skills or background, please reach out. And the E4P team, Entrepreneurs for Palestine, Tom talked about them earlier. We're looking for EMEA and Europe community manager. This person will help us kind of build, as we continue to get membership. They're going to help us with onboarding new members, walking them through what's needed, and help managing the Slack. And so this is a really cool role, a very important role. And in particular, we need someone that's based out of Europe or the MENA region so they can work and contribute in those hours. We have more open positions. I just highlighted a few here. So to see all of the open positions, please go to the T4P volunteering needs page. And I'll make sure that gets dropped in the chat. You can find it on our website as well. So this is something I love. We started doing this recently. I love covering this section. Love the feedback that we get from the T4P project leaders and team members. This is an opportunity to really call out some amazing dedicated volunteers that are helping on our projects. Everyone here is volunteer based, and so these are folks that are juggling personal lives, professional obligations, family, kids, a million other things, and yet they show up and they contribute in amazing ways across our projects. So the first I'll call out, and this is a special one. The Apricot team wants to give a special shout out to Steph Propaganda. This is a little bit of an unusual one. Steph's actually, you guys might have heard her in a previous community call. She actually is a project leader for Watermelon. And so she has done an amazing job jumping in to help when the Apricot team needed some support. She found, she saw a need and really offered her expertise. She's helped the team set up their social media. And in the past week has recorded a podcast. So she created a podcast highlighting engineers in and from Palestine through interviews and highlighting their work. This podcast is going to reach thousands, and it's very important and impactful work. Again, for someone who just offered to jump in and help when she saw a need. So the Apricot team and all of T4P really thanks you, Steph Propaganda, for helping jump in there and juggling all that you're juggling. The Cora dedication team wants to give a shout out to Trish. So Trish, as soon as she joined the Cora dedication team, her immense enthusiasm, her passion, and her determination to help the cause in whichever way possible was evident just right from the start. During the time she's been volunteering with the team, her impact has been brilliant with her hard work in research and writing. She's also proven to be a really important team member and within the writers community at large, with her successful contributions and by her presence. She's another example of why what a truly dedicated team member and talented volunteer, the type of impact they could have. And so we thank you for your dedication to the cause, for your brilliant writings, and for all your hard work. It's apparent and felt by all, and a large part of why, what makes Cora so successful. Last but not least, the Find a Protest team wants to give a shout out to Zane for all her hard work. Zane, the team is, speaks so highly, says it's been such a pleasure to have you on the team. You have great ideas, which you share very generously. You provide valuable feedback to the team, and you engage in team discussions in a very meaningful and impactful way. You participate, you contribute to the broader vision of the product, going well and above and beyond what the team initially expected. So thank you. You've also, offer to give additional time to help others out on the project. And just overall, it's been, you provide a really awesome vibe to the team, and it's been great working with you. So from everyone at Find a Protest and from the T4P team, thank you so much for all you do. All right, so that is our superstars. I think, Tom, unless there are questions here. Oh, thank you. Yeah. So how do you get involved? Sorry, guys. I just had an issue with my screen. Apologies. All right. How do you get involved? So we will share this. Please, if you want to help join the cause, there are lots of ways to contribute. We always have different opportunities that pop up. So check out our website for different ways you can get involved and help participating in this community call, sharing with your friends, helping us spread the word. Those are all fabulous ways to join in and get involved, and using our products, right? So taking advantage of the apps that are available now and using them and spreading the word. Those are great ways to help join the cause and contribute. There are other things you can do. If we go to the next slide, you can follow us on different social media venues. So LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, we're everywhere. Find us. Follow us, spread the word. It helps in getting the word out on all the amazing work these folks are doing and giving visibility to the products that are available and out there now. So that's a very, very powerful way to support T4P. Joining these calls, signing up for our newsletters, staying engaged, staying involved, super helpful. All right, so with that, we'll pause and see if there are any questions. We'll take questions, and then we'll wrap up and hopefully see you guys in May. All right, let's see. Are there any questions we want to answer? If we answered them all, we'll just go through them super quickly. Who do we contact to offer social media help? Great question. Thank you. Feel free to contact me. You could fill out, there's a couple of ways to do it. The best way is to fill out the volunteer application form. We'll drop that link in the chat here. We'll also, it's on our website. If you fill out and submit a volunteer submission app and say you're a social media expert, we're going to find you because we're always looking through our database for social media experts. So that's a great way to just stay in our database and where we can tap into and find you easily. But you can also feel free to just message me directly, or you can contact volunteering@t4p.org or techforpalestine.org. I'll drop that in the chat as well. We will send the link. I don't know, Sadia, if you're able to, I'm having problems with my screens. If you're able to drop the volunteering form link, that would be awesome. And volunteering@techforpalestine.org in the chat. I'd appreciate that. All right. What other questions? Tom, do you see any? I'm missing. They go through.
I do not. Somebody asked if there were any pre-written posts on LinkedIn to promote us. There are not, but that's a good idea. You can always follow our business. I will put my LinkedIn on here. And also Paul Bigger. If you follow Paul or any of us on LinkedIn, where you can repost our stuff, but yeah, we could come up with some templates that would be helpful.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Make those available. So I've dropped in the chat ways to get involved and a direct link to the volunteer application. So feel free to use those. And I will also type in our email address. All right. Anything else?
I think that's about it.
All right. Cool. Hopefully we didn't miss anything. If we did, we'll reach out to you and try to answer those questions. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for participating. Have a good one.
Thanks, everyone.